So the lace on the hemline, I wanted to give the illusion of inserted in rather than placed on top and stitched over. So this is the end result. Now unfortunately you can't actually get the full with the camera, full picture of it with the camera, but I can tell you that with looking at this with on the naked eye, you can tell that this lace has not been applied on, it's been inserted in, and that's the kind of, you know, depending on the kind of lace that you're using and the kind of finishing that you're trying to achieve, this is one beautiful way of doing it. Now I'm just going to go on to, I've done the one side and I'm going to go on to explaining this towards the other side. I just wanted to pre-do it rather than, okay, so get the lace, and it means a few stitching, so patience is the utmost. And what we're going to do with this lace is leave the fabric underneath and place the lace on top, right sides facing each other, and close to the edge of the lace we're going to seam just a straight seam, just right close to the edge. Now one of the other problems that you have with laces like these is that where it's been edged off, sometimes that edging can fray away and spoil the garment. So that's another thing that this will eliminate, that problem arising where the lace has frayed and spoiled your perfectly good suit, what would otherwise have been a perfectly good suit. It's just a straight stitching, which is relatively easy. There's nothing hard about it. So once this seam is done, you take that edge, and the dress is right side facing up, facing down, right side facing up, wrong side facing down towards the machine, and the lace right side facing down towards it. Place it on top, and again leaving about about a centimeter of the dress fabric, but stitching on close to the edge of, depending on how wide your lace is as well. This lace is not very wide, it's only like 3/4 of an inch. So what we're doing is we don't want to narrow it down anymore, so we're seaming on close to the edge of the lace. And this is where the machine's overlocking stitch has been applied on the lace, and this is what I was talking about, that overlocking stitch that's applied on the edge. Sometimes it can very easily fray away and spoil the whole look of the garment. So that's what we're trying to. Now the next bit that we're going to do, once you've done that, you've got your right side, you know, both your seams and the lace inserted in between. We're just going to trim away the excess, because this bit is the tricky bit. This is like a snake-like. So the right side of the trim, just leave it at the bottom, grab a hold of, you know, and this, as you're going along, this is going to form like a snake, and it's going to become a little bit difficult to stitch as you're going along, and you're just stitching just a little bit below the original stitching that you've just done, just underneath the, this time we're just seaming just underneath the lace. And take the diamantes off because you don't want the needle breaking. Again, you're sewing about a centimeter away from the edge. Now as the snake, as you expand, make sure you don't, especially if the fabric is velvet or something, you don't pull on the bottom fabric. Sew it with a lot of ease because the machine pushes that along as well, so just bear that in mind. Now as your snake gets bigger, it's going to create a little bit of bulking, and it, you know, the belly of the snake is going to get bigger, it's getting more fuller. Because all the fabric now is becoming more bulky, and there's more fabric that's getting trapped inside of the trim. So basically what you're doing with this is you're trapping the whole of your dress, well, the main part of your dress. This is daman. and you sort of have to slow down a bit as you get towards. Make sure you don't pull the bottom fabric, because when you get to the edge, your fabrics should ideally meet up. I don't know how come, but I've gone and stretched it. Just going to go back a little. It's a velvety fabric, and it does tend to, and what you'll end up getting is, if you end up having the fabric stretching, then, you know, in a way it's good that this has happened, because it makes you aware that even we don't get it right the first time, and if I can make a mistake, you have to be twice as careful not to make the same mistake. Because, and this is what I'm trying to make you aware of, that you know, you've got to take lessons from this, that if I've gone and made a mistake, then there's a reason for that mistake, and you know, you don't want to be, you're seeing that mistake prior to that mistake by being committed by you. So rather than, you know, since you're watching this and me making it, it should be making you more aware of exactly what I'm talking about. There's always lessons and hikmat in when we make mistakes. Alhamdulillah. You know, in life we have our ups and downs, but the whole point is to take that as heed. If you take it as heed, then, you know, you will always continue to learn and benefit. And the minute we become stubborn and think and, you know, start to criticize rather than to learn, then we ultimately lose out. So never criticize somebody else's way of doing things, because there's probably hikmat in that too, and there's always things that we can learn from it. Alhamdulillah. So we get to the end, and when we get to the end, we pull on this, and it should slowly, don't pull on it too hard, because it's a stretchy fabric. You can end up breaking the thread on the stretchy fabric. So this, once it's all pulled out, you will need to press it just to stabilize it and even it out. If it's got a very marginal pull, the ironing should actually take it out, but you don't want to create a twist, because I mean, at the moment it looks like a twist, but once this is ironed out, hopefully this twist should come out. It shouldn't be a twist. No, there shouldn't be a twist. This is a difficult fabric to stitch as well, so I don't always advise, if you're going to stitch fabric like this on borders, the other wise thing to do is maybe use a light, very light stabilizer, just to stop this pull from happening.